Poly are creating blood vessels right here on campus using tissue engineering.
A new physical therapy office is making moves to help the local Parkinson's community.
And this year, a Cal Poly student design will be built at a local winery.
Broadcasting from Swanson Studios, you're watching Mustang News.
Hello and welcome to Mustang News. I'm Lauren Kozicki.
And I'm Maya Dvorak. Let's take a look at today's top stories. 13 years ago, Dr. Kristen O'Halloran Cardinal began the tissue engineering lab on Cal Poly's campus, and as Mustang News reporter Anna Howard found out today, students are still working with her to create new cells.
Undergraduate Alyssa McCullough has spent at least 10 hours a week in the lab since March of 2019, working on tissue engineering alongside graduate student Ashley Turcotte and Dr. Kristen O'Halloran Cardinal.
So tissue engineering is essentially trying to mimic nature's process of creating human tissue. So we focus on tissue engineering blood vessels.
The process begins by growing cells, while building the structure for the blood vessels and inserting the cells into them, and after a few days, the cells will grow into the silicone.
Overall, the biggest challenge is mimicking nature. You're trying to do something that humans were not meant to do. Your body has it down to a T. It can perform it very well. It knows exactly what kind of coatings. It knows how many cells to lay down. And we're trying to copy what nature does itself, and that, in essence, is just a very difficult process.
Once the vessels are created, Turcotte stains and takes pictures of them to determine how well they did. Then, based on the photos, they make a few improvements and start the process all over again.
It's easy to say and hard to do. I find that a lot of the protocols that we're working with are super complicated, and there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of variables.
By growing their own cells to work on, it is both cost-effective and disregards ethical concerns held among the communities regarding testing and working on animals. With Mustang News, I'm Anna Howard.
Although it has its setbacks, the two both see tissue engineering as the future of medicine.
The first weekly Parkinson's Wellness Recovery Exercise class has been introduced to San Luis Obispo. Mustang News reporter Cameron Ramirez has more.
A new physical therapy office has opened in San Luis Obispo and is now offering Parkinson's Wellness Recovery classes, also known as Power Moves. While the Parkinson's community in San Luis Obispo is prevalent, Parkinson's-related exercise classes are not. Physical therapist and Power Moves instructor Kristen Carlis explains the lack of accessibility in the San Luis Obispo area.
There were a few classes that were offered, but maybe once a month or once quarterly. And really, people with Parkinson's disease need to have consistent exercise. So we decided to make it a twice-weekly class so that there was always an opportunity.
Many of the movements are focused on helping patients better perform tasks such as getting off the floor and rolling over in bed.
So Power Moves are a series of exercises geared towards helping people with Parkinson's disease. And basically the idea behind the class is to increase amplitude of movement, get them some exercise with some intensity, which helps slow the progression of Parkinson's disease, as well as give them kind of a support group and something that they can participate in on a regular basis.
As someone who has Parkinson's, William Gayhafer has been attending these classes since the beginning and credits the weekly consistency to his improved gait and balance.
It's helped me with my freezing of gait. It's helped me with my turning. I've had problems turning around and moving my feet periodically, so it helps with that a lot.
Power Moves attendees range from all ages and abilities and are offered every Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 1 p.m. Beginning next month, Power Moves classes will be free on Tuesdays for anyone looking to try it out. For Mustang News, I'm Cameron Ramirez.
Classes are $15 per person, or bring a friend for a 2 for $20 deal. For more information about the classes, visit precisionptw.com.
Now over to Ella with today's forecast.
We've got a cool rest of the week, but expect rain this weekend. More on the weather coming up after the break.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Maria, so how's work?
It was fourth period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bella and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool. See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Hello and welcome back to Mustang News TV. I'm Elika Melik with today's weather. Today, January 22nd, we'll see a high of 65 and a low of 48. Today will be sunny with a little bit of cloud cover. And in the North County, we will see a similar range of temperatures, an average around a high of 64 and a low of 44. Down in South County, we will also see a pretty similar range of temperatures, with it also a high of 64 and a low of 46. Down by the beaches, it'll get a little cooler, especially in Morro Bay, with a high of 62 and a low of 49. And for today's for the 5-day forecast, we have a little bit of sun in our forecast, but the week will end in rain and a lot of clouds on Sunday. That's all for weather. Now over to Parker with the Cal Poly Sports for this week.
Following the men's basketball team's first Big West victory this season against CSU Northridge with a score of 74-56, the team narrowly missed a victory against Hawaii's Rainbow Warriors this last Thursday. Although Poly outscored Hawaii in the second half, a pair of free throws in the final moments of the game pushed Hawaii ahead, ending with a score of 61-65. The USA Pentathlon National Qualifying event is happening this week on Cal Poly campus, January 18th and 19th. The country's leading pentathletes will compete for a chance of representing the United States in the 2020 Olympics with a combination of swimming, fencing, equestrian riding, and even cross-country running event involving laser pistols. Reporter Maya Dvorchak met up with a few players from the Cal Poly baseball team to hear about how they're gearing up for their 2020 season.
The 2020 season is on the horizon for the Cal Poly Mustangs baseball team, but their roster might be noticeably smaller than previous years. With 7 players not returning this season, not including those that graduated, their team will undoubtedly look different come spring. But third-year sociology major and pitcher Dylan Villalobos isn't worried about the loss of players.
We have that real core group of guys that we know want to be there now. We've kind of shed the weak guys and they're gone, so we're ready to go.
The Mustangs capped off their 2019 season with a 17-7 record, putting them in 3rd place in the Big West behind the UCSB Gauchos and the UC Irvine Anteaters. Third-year pitcher and business finance major Matt Ahrens is hoping to change that this season with the group of guys who still call Cal Poly baseball home.
Obviously, we want to win the Big West and play in a regional and hopefully make it to World Series. That's the ultimate goal. We have a lot more younger guys, I think, that are going to step up and really help compete. Then we have a lot of returners from last year who are also going to fill that role, so I think it's going to be fun.
With the loss of returners, Villalobos emphasized the need for the whole team to step up to accomplish their goals for this season.
I think it's going to take every single guy this year, whereas in previous years we've kind of had overloads of guys, so a lot of guys didn't get used, but this year I think everyone will be used.
The Mustangs will kick off their season in mid-February with the 3-game series in Scottsdale, Arizona, where they are taking on Connecticut, Michigan, and Vanderbilt.
You can catch the Mustangs in action at their first home game on February 18th at 6 p.m. in Baguette Stadium. That's all for sports. Now back over to Maya and Lauren.
Coming up next, Cal Poly students' fall quarter designs will be built full scale at a winery in 2020.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause... Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's smoky!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink.
Next
and finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
In December, the Wine History Project named the winning Cal Poly student team for their design competition. In the upcoming months, the design will go from mock-ups to human size at a local winery.
This past fall quarter, the Wine History Project commissioned 8 teams of 36 Cal Poly students to brainstorm and to test concepts for a temporary building design. The catch? The students had to account for the specific requests of movability and adaptability.
Essentially had to be a very strong tent.
On December 8th, 2019, the teams presented their final designs where the concept flow was crowned.
Even if you really love your certain set design, you still have to be respectful of your teammates and take input and change the design even if you really love it.
The pavilion was created by students of 3 different disciplines: architectural engineering, architecture, and construction management.
We all learn to work with a different major, someone with an entirely different mindset.
The team's design was selected by a team of judges, including 3 architecture and environmental design professors who oversaw the students' quarter of work.
The pavilion itself is a piece of art, but the exhibits are art as well. And this one presented a lot of surfaces and opportunities for displaying the works.
In the upcoming months, the winning design of the Slow Wine History Pavilion will be built full scale and installed temporarily at Sausalito Canyon, a historic winery in Edna Valley.
Frequently there are design projects that are hypothetical, but when you have an actual client, it's a much better learning experience.
I'm Elga Melik for Mustang News TV.
For more information and to keep up to date on the building phase of the project, visit winehistoryproject.org.
Have you ever entered Cal Poly on Highland Drive late on a Saturday morning, seen what looks like a farm stand, and wondered what it was? Well, the Cal Poly Horticulture Unit is selling produce that they grow themselves, as well as operating a U-Pick stand, which allows people to come out and pick their own fruit for themselves out on Highland Drive on weekends. How the U-Pick works is the unit gives people a bucket so they can go and pick their own produce. Then they weigh however much was picked and charge by the pound. The stand started out as a way for students and the unit to give back to the San Luis Obispo community, as well as turn a profit since the farm is self-supportive. The stand's popularity is dependent on the season and what produce is being offered.
During the winter break, when we had the Satsuma the Mandarin U-Pick, it was busy nonstop for 3 hours. We do over $1,000 in profit. It was 3 hours of me being on my feet.
The current U-Pick option at the stand is Satsuma Mandarin oranges. Community members and students alike enjoy going out to pick their own produce. The U-Pick has become a way to educate people on how and where their food is grown. On top of that, students frequent it because they receive 25% off their purchase. Past options at the stand and U-Pick has had in peaches, pears, apples, pumpkins, corn, and tomatoes, and they will soon start offering broccoli, chard, and lettuce. To visit, the U-Pick operates Saturdays out on Highland from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
On Saturday, January 18th, thousands took to the street in San Luis Obispo in support of the women's rights for the 4th time now in March. The annual Women's March is held in SLO since 2017.